Once again, it might be too early to celebrate, but I do come from the management school of celebrating every victory regardless of how small. So, I have just stopped because I was sweating really hard and I was getting really frustrated and my back was up against the wall. It didn't look like we were going to... I think everything was coming up wrong with the windless, but I think I've had a breakthrough. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, my buddy Jim and I tried to remove that. By looking at the other one, I saw there was just a keyway in there, so we forced it out. We got that. I got that out. That's all set to go. Old motor, new gearbox, new motor. But remember I told you about there's a O-ring and a seal and goes up on the shaft. Well, underneath in the anchor locker, I've got everything unscrewed, and it is so hard getting everything up, and it gets stuck, and there's a thing in there. And as you can see over here, I've got this thing up like this far so far, but it just won't come anymore. And I don't want to break anything. And then the real problem is this right here. This shaft is it's loose, meaning there you go. It'll come up and it should pop right out of there. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was like, I know there's a keyway, but I've got the keyway out. So what's keeping it from there? Because if I could pull that shaft out, then I could get to the seal. Well, after cooling down, having breakfast and thinking about it and looking and doing some more thought, I got the new lip seal and realized, oh my God, this lip seal is never going to seal where we need to seal. See that? So let me pull this up again, get it stuck. There is a rubber seal in here. It's got all kinds of mud in there, so you can't see much. But there's a rubber seal right in there. I don't have that, and no one's offered that to me. And I don't even know how to do that. You'd have to get this thing off and press it off and all that. Plus, underneath that is where the O-ring is. And I look at it, it looks in really, really, really good shape. Remember I told you that there was a weep hole over here, that this is where everything went? Well, I'm kind of giving away the end of the story here. Anyway, this would have been ideal if it was here. This is not the low part of the boat. This is the side. This would be the low part because the bow is on an angle like that. Anyway, this here is a plug, and I had thought that it was welded in there, that you snap it off kind of like you do with an electrical service outlet, you know, where you pop out the punt and the knockout holes. Anyway, that is for a chain counter, if you want to put a chain counter in. I've talked about that before, where I bought a chain counter, but I never installed it. Anyway, so I'm thinking, even if I got this out, I still wouldn't have the right seal to put in. And even if I did that, I still would have to get the O-ring on the other side of that. And those things, it looks totally fine. I don't know that that's a problem. So how is the water getting in? There's a YouTube channel I've been watching just to see about this that has the only thing I could see that has anything about people tearing these Muir windlasses down. It's two old dudes motor sailing or something like that. A couple Australian dudes cruising around. They have the same winch, but they were sealing all down here. And I swear to God, this is not the problem. The problem is over here. Well, in looking at this whole issue with the seal and cleaning this up, looking at it, I went over and touched this. And look, this just popped out, and you can see where the mud, hopefully you can see that, you can see where the mud has been going right down there. And that's on the inside of that tube that goes right into the drive, you know, the right angle drive, the gearbox. So, since I don't have the parts to fix this properly anyway, and I don't know that it's actually broken, that seal looks like it's right to me. And I don't see anything wrong with that. This is obviously where the water intrusion is coming from. So I think what I'm going to do is clean all this up. I'm going to put this down, and I'll probably clean this little plastic plug up too, and then maybe put some 4200 in there, and then seal that. And in other words, the 4200 won't be so much a seal, a glue, an adhesive, as it will be a sealant to seal the hole, because this is not a watertight thing at all. Now, I don't think that would probably work really well if this was the low side and water got in here, pulled up here, and went there. But right now the water's sitting here, and then it's just leaking here and dripping down into that whole little assembly down below. So I really think that's our problem. So I'm going to put everything back together. Wish me luck, and hopefully we'll be good to go.